All right, boom. But you were saying you wish you would have quit your job earlier, even though you're like really close to financial freedom.
Yeah, because my job really discouraged me being out on YouTube or any type of social media. So
Gotcha.
I created a Facebook page, didn't put my face on it, and just tried to help out people in that way because it just I knew they would be like investigating me and stuff like that. So I unfortunately didn't have the opportunity until I fired, and now I'm doing some videos and stuff. So
yeah. So for everyone just joining the live stream, we got 2 people that are part of the FIRE movement.
Yes, sir.
What does it even stand for? Financial Independence Retire
Early. Yeah.
Yeah. So Victor has achieved it. He's been selling books for years. He was doing it undercover while he was working his job. But now he quit his job. He's financially free. He can do whatever he wants. And he chooses to sell books for fun.
Yeah. I think of it as a video game. Right. So, it's like when other people play video games, I'm playing that same video game, but I'm making money doing it.
Yeah.
That's how I see it.
Yeah.
I do
like it.
Yeah. When I have some free time, I do it.
My dad's about to retire and he wants to do something. And I'm like, dude, you should probably get into like online arbitrage flipping books or eBay, Amazon or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
the way Joji and I do it, it's like the safest way. Like, we choose what books to buy. Like, when you go into a thrift store, you're kind of limited to what those books are. For us, it's like whatever 62 million books are out there, we can choose that day which ones we want.
Yeah. Joji was saying you were breaking down some like crazy strategies on Keepa. I'd be curious. Maybe we could dive into that a little bit tonight.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
I think one thing about financial independence that's important to talk about as well is people might hear what Victor just said and said, well, you quote retired from your job to go sell books, but I think a lot of people are thinking he just changed job, but no, like he actually doesn't ever need to work in his life again. Like he's just choosing to sell books on the side. Mm-hmm. There's a difference between changing your profession for needing money to support lifestyle versus like actually you don't even need money anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I chose between this or teaching tennis lessons, right? Because I used to play tennis in college. And I think I can give way more back this way than teaching tennis lessons, because I'm just going to be like to just the local community in tennis. But in teaching books, I can help out everybody.
It's kind of crazy. Like if you think about it, like you can literally help people like with their job, and like in a way, like you're ending this might be a little melodramatic, but you're ending them from a form of slavery.
Yes. Exactly. Like I don't have to wake up at 8 o'clock in the morning or 7 in the morning every day and listen to a boss. I'm just doing this when I want and how I want. Like I set my own schedule. You can buy at 2 in the morning, right? Because Joji's even said this before. eBay and Amazon are open at 2 in the morning. Yep. Mm-hmm. If you want to, go start sourcing books at that time.
Yeah. Do you guys know what percent of I Googled it. I heard that 10% of Amazon sales are book sales. Do you know if that's true?
I haven't looked at the data. I don't know, but
because somebody came on my pod and they said 50%. I Googled it and I don't know what the source was.
I think that's way too high, 50%.
Yeah, 50%. I think maybe it's 10% of the sales, but like I don't know about like listings. I think there's more listings probably. If somebody had quoted 50%, it's 50% is way too high, but maybe 25% or actual listings are there. It's just that they're not selling. A lot of those books are just there and they sell maybe once or twice a year.
Even 10% is like
it's crazy considering how big Amazon is
out there. It's like if you can just capture like a small percent of that, you're gonna make a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to say like how many books are listed. It's over 90 million. It's getting close to 100 million books on Amazon.
I never see like 30 million sales ranked book to sell. Do you guys?
30 million?
I don't know how high the sales rank goes.
Like 20,000 or 20 million, I think, is the highest I've seen.
Yeah, at some point, Keepa stopped tracking.
They stopped tracking somewhere around the 60 million range.
16?
60?
Yeah, 60.
Oh, 60.
Oh.
Yeah.
And then I just call it a no sales rank book after that.
Yeah.
But no sales rank books sell all the time.
Mm-hmm.
The easiest way to think about a no sales rank book is like you can have a rare book that hasn't been listed for 3 years. It's not going to have a sales rank because no one could even buy it. It's not even listed on Amazon for sale. Mm-hmm. So that's like a good example.
Yeah.
And Keepa's not trying to like track those books because they also have like a data limit. So when that 60 million book is there, they're not going to go over there and purchase that. I mean, not going to go and track it. Sorry.
Yeah. 86,302,042 books in the book category.
Wait, how many again?
It's 86,302,042. That's how many listings as of right now. It changes all the time. So if you come back tomorrow, it'll be different.
Instead of Victor pushing quarters into the machine is pushing dollars in this wallet.
Exactly.
What was the sourcing method again? Somebody said, can you kind of break down what you do, Victor?
Yeah. So quite a long time ago, I also sourced books as like an regular online arbitrage bookseller, right? Where I would go to Keepa deals and track books every day and stuff like that. Realizing that took a lot of time. I had to be on there and try to beat everybody to the next sale. And through that time, I realized that there's like seasonal books, basically books that have holidays coming, like seasons that are coming, and there are books that are tied to those seasons. So for instance, like Easter and Christmas and Halloween, there are actual books just related to those stories. So if you were able to track those type of books, you don't have to wait for that book to drop, because it stays dropped. It stays dropped for like months. You can buy it about 3 to 4 months out and then wait for that season to come and then sell it. So that return on investment's really high. And also there isn't a demand on your time. You can just buy it at any point during that 3 to 4 months out, and you're good to go. Matter of fact, there are Easter books now that are like $3 to $5 that you can buy and wait for Easter to come. So that's what I do in a nutshell.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Very cool.
Then Joji, you basically did something similar to that, but you focus more on textbooks, right?
Yeah, I've more recently started doing more seasonal book arbitrage because of Victor. He's brilliant. He's a genius. Yeah. I came across that from we met behind the scenes, and I was in his Facebook group just because it was a book selling group. I didn't really understand what it was about, but after having interviewed him, I was like, dude, this is kind of crazy, and it makes sense, right? People want a Christmas book right before Christmas. But yeah, the sourcing strategies I use is the 3 Keepa sourcing strategies. So there's what are called Keepa deals, Keepa alerts, and also Keepa product finder. So those are 3 different like main pillar strategies that you can use to find undervalued books.
Yeah.
And those are means to find books, but you really need to have a good foundation in how to read a Keepa graph to understand if a book you're looking at is actually undervalued. And with Scout IQ and Scally, that's so easily. It goes green or goes red. It's a little bit more difficult when you're trying to find the book on Amazon, because you have to make that decision in your head. Like, is this a book that is below its true market value? And if it's not, then obviously don't buy it. But if it is, those are the books that Victor and I pick up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We might need to get a little screen share action later going on.
Absolutely.
Sounds good.
Oh, yeah. By the way, speaking of textbooks, real quick.
Grind hard, well done, sir. And welcome to the freaking Well Show.
Got an announcement. If you weren't using restrictedinventory.com before, now I think it's like a complete no-brainer, because if you send us books, we're never going to keep more than $20. So if you send us a book that nets $100 profit, you get 80, we get 20. So if you come across restricted textbooks when you're out thrifting, libraries, maybe you're doing online arbitrage, I think now it's just I think before it was like a good solution, but now it's like you have brain damage if you don't use restricted inventory. So
yeah, it's crazy in the higher dollar books for sure.
I think that's what the value is, where you're able to, like, if you get a $100 book or more, you need to send that in. Don't pass it up. Because there's money there. So yeah, it's a good idea.
One question I have for you, Aver, here is what is the sort of pricing strategy with restricted inventory? Because there could be some books that in off season, like for example, do you guys know when there's textbooks that are going to be super seasonal? Because you might have a textbook that's worth $10 or $15 in the off season, but always gets to 60 or 70. Is that
they use some historical data? They use Cash Monkey, so there's a combination of listing at merchant fulfilled, FBA. They use historical data. Based on the historical data and the current market prices, they decide whether they're going to send to FBA or MF. Rumor has it they might even list some books as new. Who knows? But
that's the safest way to do it. Let somebody else list your books.
I don't know. I'm not at the warehouse, but I mean, like they want to make as much money as possible. I say they because like it's my partner that does all the pricing. So, but I mean, I haven't had too many complaints about the pricing. So there is some concern if you are an online arbitrage seller that it's being repriced by a repricer, but give it a go. Peter Valley's community at one point was sending us a ton of books, like a couple years back, a bunch of online arbitrage. But I think it was more the online arbitragers would send their books to Amazon, and then remove them to us rather than purchase them with the intent of us selling them.
Okay.
So
very cool.
How long does it normally take you guys to sell a book?
It takes probably a week to get to us, a week for us to list it. And then when it sells, we pay out 30 days after for the return window. So yeah, about 6 weeks.
You guys are mostly FBA then still?
Yeah, mostly. Yeah, I'd say we're about 70% FBA.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's game changing. I was planning on making a video about that.
Yeah.
You got to restrict inventory because if you got high dollar textbooks, I mean, if you get to keep a large percentage of it now, that's huge. Because obviously, like up until this point, usually the best outlet was to sell to a buyback company because immediate cash, oftentimes it's the same amount or even more. But now, it might be better to send to restricted inventory.
Yeah, I tell people, like, just do the math. Like, if you have a restricted textbook, look at, does it sell on eBay? Look at sold items on eBay. If it sells on eBay, consider that. Look at bookscouter.com. Look at the top 3 or 4 vendors. See what the price is. If the price is good, sell it to them, and then look at restricted inventory's price and send it to the one that gives you more.
Yeah.
So somebody just asked the same question Joji did. Pricing. We have a repricer. I don't have control over it, but we're greedy and we're trying to make as much money as possible. So
multiple store violations. Yikes.
Did you really?
Oh.
Hit me up. I got suspended for that too. Never got reinstated.
Yeah.
I just made another account. I guess I made another account for the same reason I got suspended for it. I didn't know about restricted inventory. That's awesome. Yeah. And also, we're doing a giveaway, $500 giveaway later tonight. So if you don't already have a GoToLister subscription, it's a software that allows you to easily label your books. Listing on Seller Central is slow. It sucks. GoToLister makes the process fun, and it tracks your profit too. Here's what Steve Rakin, who couldn't make it tonight, has to say about GoToLister.
The number one thing I love about it most is it helps me list and process my items that much faster. And as you know, if you want to grow your Amazon business, speed is the name of the game. If you're thinking about selling on Amazon or you're already selling and you want to be able to grow your business quicker, definitely check out GoToLister. Appreciate you, Avery, for creating the software, and it's really helping me grow my business. Much love.
Yep, GoToLister. So if you have a GoToLister account, later we'll do a giveaway where you just comment below your email and we'll put you in. We'll pick a winner. So $500 books, packed, shipped directly to your house. Practical Woo Woo says, question, I had a $350 book sale for $3. I had a $350 book sale for $3. My repricing software limits look good, but I didn't list the book at that price. Anyone ever had this happen? I'm bummed.
Victor, give her her book back, please. Give her her book back.
I recently bought a book for 92 cents. Some repricer happened, and it was FBA 92 cents. I didn't even know it was possible. So,
I bought books for 92 cents as well. Crazy.
Yeah.
What would be going on there? So what repricing software are you actually using?
They didn't have a min price set for sure.
Yeah, you probably didn't have a minimum price set.
I think you got to do 2 things. If you have a repricer that's not the Amazon repricer, you got to at least go on Amazon and put a minimum price in there, something like $15. So if your actual software goes wacky, at least if it goes under $15, it'll just cut it off and it'll just go to suspended inventory instead of selling under that $15 mark, because that can happen. I think it's just probably your repricing software kind of going wild.
Yeah. I would try to look into the root cause of that. Maybe contact the software.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. I'm sorry that happened to you, but
I know
that is one of the main appeals to Keepa deals, which is a sourcing strategy, is to finding undervalued books. Is people who are newer, they do often list books for below their true market value. It could either be on accident or it could be like they just don't know what to list the book at, and that's like one of the ways that we buy a lot of books is from kind of new sellers who are like, hey, I'll list this book for $30, not realizing it's really worth $80, or
Mm-hmm.
And like what Steve does.
You said what?
I said like what Steve does. He actually goes on eBay and tries to sort things, right? We can also do that with books. There are a lot of individual sellers that don't realize how much their book is worth and will sell it pretty dirt cheap. Especially like if the college has given them the students the book, or high schools actually have given the book to the students. They don't even know how much the book is actually worth. sell it for like $10, $20, and we can then buy that book and flip it. So that's another definitely source that you can use.
Yeah, 100%.
Let's see. Yeshua, use GoToList today to list 85 SKUs and send in 90 total items a day in less than an hour. Great software, great support. Yeah, I like GoToLister.
We got live support at all times. So.
Oh, really? That's awesome.
From 12 to 8 every day, except for Sunday. We have live support.
That's awesome. Pretty cool.
Switched over from Booksellers, yeah.
Yesha's saying, so essentially what Victor is doing is using Keepa to forecast increases in seasonal prices, which currently have available low-cost inventory.
That's right. Exactly. I utilize.
You're looking for books price super low, right?
Right. Correct. So a lot of my books are less than 10. Almost all of them are less than $10, because I'm buying them off season. So there's just no demand for those books at the time. Think about 2 or 3 months ago, nobody was thinking of Christmas, but yet there was tons of Christmas books out there. And then you just buy those then and let Amazon sit on them. And then some people might ask, well, then there's storage fees on Amazon, and each one of those books are about 4 cents a month. And as long as you know that they're going to have a really high peak, who cares about the 4 cents? So
how often are you removing inventory?
Not often. I looked the last year, less than 10 books altogether, and
what's your
9,000 books I sold. Right now, under 1,000. I'm under 1,000 because we just had August and September, and I mostly right now have Christmas books in stock, and I'm gonna try to get some college books. That's what I'm buying right now, is flipping college books until January.
Nice. Practical Roots is back.
Thank you.
Can I share my screen real quick? I'm gonna share my screen real quick.
Sure.
Yeah, we'll show you what we're talking about here. Yeshua.
Yeah.
You guys got to take a shot every time Joji or Victor shares their screen.
This might be.
All right.
Might be drunk by the end of the night.
Yeah.
Okay, so look, Annika's Secret Wish. This is a Christmas book, right? Just sold 2 hours ago, $231. That's today, 11/18, $26.47. This is the buy price, $614 on Amazon. That was delivered July 10th, so a while ago, right? And this is the Keepa graph. Like if you look at this book over the last few years, like you'll notice that the used price basically always spikes right before Christmas. You see the used offer count on the bottom graph basically go from a pretty high number all the way down to basically zero, and it recovers in the off season, gets really cheap right around a couple bucks. This last year is basically out of stock by November 8th, and you can see that the used line was basically in and out, which means that really there was nobody listing this. As soon as it was listed, it was selling for right around $37-$38. Then you can see it started recovering back here in May. The used offer count starts going up because who wants a Christmas book? I mean, some people actually are buying it, which is kind of crazy. But obviously,
it's us.
It's money. It's us, right? So this is Victor. Victor comes in here July 3rd. He buys 20. Offer count goes from 21 to 16. So he buys some, and then you can see how the used prices have started going up, and so you can see how the used offer count is starting to go down. So this is probably going to be a decent. That's just one book, and Victor and I sold a list. I'm gonna stop sharing here. We sold a Christmas book list of 250 books that I know some people here probably actually bought, and a lot of those books are selling now, and they're doing great. So there's some evidence for you.
Yeah. What do you have to say about people that say, like, basically they bought a book, they were going to sell it for 300, but Amazon dropped it to 20? I'm not sure if they mean Amazon or Amazon warehouse deals, but do you have any suggestions for dealing with that?
So if Amazon surprisingly came on the listing for $20, what you have to do is just take that as a lessons learned, right? You got to go back to your Keepa chart to see if Amazon's ever been on the listing. Yeah. And that's a dead giveaway. If they've been on the listing and they've gone in and out of that book, well, then I would probably just hold it. But if this is they've been on the listing for 3 years, we're off for a few months, and that's when you bought it, and now it's back on again, you're probably just, you're going to have to just take that one and sell it for $18, $19, try to undercut Amazon and sell it and just keep moving. But try to learn where you went wrong at, and so that that doesn't happen again.
Mm-hmm. Thanks. I didn't know I could set limits on Amazon. Yeah. Most listing softwares allow you to set min and max prices. They send those to Amazon, and then you can usually transfer those to your repricing software too. So if you Be Cool GoToLister, you can download from GoToLister, upload to Be Cool. That way everything's in sync.
Yeah.
Minimum prices will save you because repricers, they can go crazy.
Yeah.
I'd like to know how much each of you figures out the minimum charge for your FBA books. What do you think she means by that?
I think Gary means like if you buy a book for, let's say, $5 or $6 and you look at the Keepa chart, how do you determine what you price it at? I would say for me, it comes down to looking at the current used offer count. So I think if you're buying like your Christmas books in July, it's so far before the season that it's kind of hard to know what the season's going to look like once it gets there. But, once you start getting to October, November, you're going to start to see what the used offer count today looks like in comparison to the same day last year. And if the offer count is, significantly higher than it was the previous year, I would say, okay, you're probably going to have to price down. Versus if it's significantly lower than it was in the past, then you'll probably have a lot more opportunity to price up. But, obviously one of the, probably the hardest challenge here is the high pricing errors. Like Amazon often will say, hey, you want to list this book for 35, we'll only let you list it for 21. So at some point you kind of have to make the decision, well, I guess I'll just sell it and to be less profitable or, that's kind of my approach behind it. So it's kind of more on a case by case basis, but I would say what Victor does is really smart, which is just get rid of all the books. Last thing you really want to do is just have all your books sitting there and trying to get the top dollar for every book. I mean, it's kind of more about volume, just selling through all the books rather than, selling only half of them for a high, inflated price, like a super inflated price. So Victor, what do you think?
Yeah, no, you're right. If I'm buying a book for $6 and I have a return on investment of 100%, I won. That's all I need to do. I don't need to try to get the very tip of the top of that book. So I'll list it for return on investment of 100%, see if that's good on that chart, and then list those books that way. So yes, you can keep, I might have lost a few dollars here and there, but by the end of Christmas, I've sold all my Christmas books, which is what my goal was.
Yeah. And so if you're a thrifter out there and you're finding books, something else you can do is just be cognizant when you're pricing your books that you don't have to match the buy box or the lowest price. You can price smarter. So something that this is unique to GoToLister. No other software has this. Like if you're listing with GoToLister, you actually can use smart pricing, which has these sales rank ranges, and it's going to price similar to what Scout IQ does. So when you scan a book with Scout IQ, it compares it to the price at which it thinks you could probably sell it for. And so a lot of times for fast selling books, like less than 125,000 sales rank, that's going to be FBA slot 4. So that's a fourth lowest FBA offer. Now that's only if this is available to the API. And if it is available via the API, because Amazon doesn't want to share all the FBA offers with software. Why don't they want to do that? Because they want to keep the prices of items low. The more money we make, generally, like the less happy customers might be. And they've gotten in trouble with the Supreme Court with price gouging and stuff like that. So Amazon wants to keep the prices low. So they limit sometimes what we can see with our software. But if we can see it, we're going to price the book higher for you and help you make more profit. But something that GoToLister allows you to do that no other software does either is we tell you when there's no FBA offers, we turn it purple. So I recommend, like, before you submit batches to Amazon, just look for any purple books like this. That means there's no FBA offers. And then if there's no FBA offers, depending on the sales rank, like you can basically name the price. Like if it's less than 1 million sales rank, we automatically price it 20% higher for you. So, I mean, if it's like 50 sales rank to 100 sales rank, you could easily price it for, $20, $30 plus. Like what have you guys experienced with FBA bumps? Like what's the craziest FBA bumps you guys have sold for?
Oh man. So what I'll say is if you look at a Keepa graph and you look at the black line, that represents the lowest used price. That actually is the true inherent market value of the book. Yeah. That's what somebody's willing to sell you the book at. Obviously, that's normally a merchant fulfilled seller. But what I'll say is the lower the sales rank, the more likely it probably is that you can have a prime bump. What I will say is I don't think a viable model is buying, because there is a model out there to try to buy low merchant offers and then flip for an inflated buy box. I think that's not a sustainable model because I don't think it happens consistently enough. But I mean, I've definitely sold books that are worth $30 for $200 before. And that's because my repricer hasn't kicked in yet. Like I haven't, I haven't repriced the book yet and it sells. So it happens. It just doesn't happen super often. But what I'd say is, definitely you should be thinking of some prime gap for sure. I just would be realistic with it. What do you think, Victor?
Yeah, I mean, the better the sales rank, the higher the chances of that book actually popping up in price. Especially, so if it has a really low sales rank and the event, whatever that book is about to happen, that's the best time that book is probably going to skyrocket. So like right before Christmas, if you still have a Christmas book and it's like December 22nd, 23rd, that's probably the highest chance that you can sell that Christmas book that you probably bought for $5-6 for like $100 to $200. And it happens, but it's not often, and you can't really base your whole business on it. But when it happens, you just get really excited that it's happened, because it's thousands of % return on investment stuff. So
crazy stuff. Sure.
So if a book has like 100K sales rank, and let's just say it's like $15 low merchant, but there's no FBA, what would you price that book at if you're sending it FBA and there's no FBA offers?
Victor, I don't know if you have more of a, I don't really have a general rule of thumb. For me, I like to really take a look at historical data to see if it has ever gone up in the past before. Like, let's say you take a book that's right now hanging out at 15, but you look at the Keepa chart in the last 2 years, you've seen that for a good majority of the time, these prices hung out around 25 or 35 or 45, then I'm much more likely to try to get a higher prime bump versus if this is a book that's always been 15 years for the last decade, I'm less likely to go 30 or more, if that makes sense.
Yeah, if there's no FBA prices, what I'm doing is going, again, just like Joji said, is look at the history. And when I'm looking at the history, I'm seeing what's the highest this book has ever sold in the last like 4 years. And that's probably going to be my max price. And then my min price will be maybe maybe $10, $15 less than that. And then be in that zone.
Yeah. We'll make it easy. Let's say just go 15%. I think 15% above is a reasonable prime bump for most books. But you can get really nuanced with it. We'll just say that.
Yeah. Steve says I had a $300 set of encyclopedia disappeared in the Amazon warehouse, even though I shipped it in a dedicated box. Any tips? I don't think a lot of I'm not blaming you, Steve, but a lot of people pack their boxes terribly. Like even at restricted inventory today, all the boxes that you guys send us, there's a lot that are just in terrible shape. So make sure there's no airspace in the box. I would use painter's paper from Home Depot and like really shove it in there. But it got lost at some point. Either the carrier lost it, Amazon may have lost it. If you had a receipt for it, Amazon is actually pretty generous with paying out for that. But obviously as booksellers, we don't really have that. And if we did, it'd be like $1 for the book, So just make sure you're packing your boxes good. That's what I would say, Steve.
For sure.
Yeah.
Maybe even use the double-walled boxes. Like Shanna Manser, she's the owner of Central Junior Prep, so she uses the double-walled boxes, which help out a lot. But making sure that
heavy-duty boxes, right?
Yeah, heavy-duty boxes, super thick. But making sure that there's no empty space, like you said. You'd be surprised how just a little bit of empty space can make a huge difference, especially when UPS workers are really just throwing the boxes.
Those encyclopedias have thick corners too, so they can really dig through cardboard boxes.
But it might not have been your fault. At the end of the day, I don't know if there's really much you can do. It's kind of it's a part of doing business, and sometimes they lose inventory, sometimes they reimburse you for it, sometimes they don't. But it's like it's a small percentage, right? It's like most of the things you'll send won't get.
I just realized I just fell in the background.
I was wondering what Avery was doing before this. I got like a hunting shirt.
Full on camo out here. I got my.
By the way, hunting season. There are some seasonal hunting books as well. So
exactly, this is when people go hunting. Yeah, we talked about this, Joji. Right? Like, hey, it's hunting time.
I've been selling some deer hunting and So
these guys don't leave their house. They do all ever.
We talk about different seasons. Like, there's even butterfly hunt. Like when butterflies come out, people are like seeing these butterflies and they want to go and buy books for butterflies. So there's even butterfly time.
Butterfly. There's crazy things. Yeah.
Hey guys, what's the best way to manually reprice books without a repricer? We kind of just went over that, but Joji says price 15%. If there are no FBA offers. Other than that, like what other tips would you have, Joji, for pricing?
Pricing without a repricer, to do it as often as possible, like you were a repricer. And if you're going into textbook season, I would say probably repricing right before the textbook season.
Yeah.
We kind of try to get a general idea of the competition. And what I mean by that is if you look at the Keepa graph, there's 2 Keepa graphs. The top one shows price history. The bottom one shows offer count. And an offer count means supply. It means how many people are listing at least one copy for sale. And you can look at today's offer count versus last year's offer count the same day. And if you see that it's considerably, higher, that's a bad sign usually. If it's considerably lower, that's a good sign. You can probably sell for a little more. And if it's kind of medium or like similar, then you'd probably say you should price it in line with what the previous year did. But I would say if you don't have a repricer, just repricing often. Like if you can reprice every day, that's going to be beneficial. But if you're getting to the point where you do that, I mean, you might as well get a repricer.
How many people do you think are out there that just have like completely automated softwares doing all of this? Like just purchasing inventory, sending it to a prep, repricing. Do you think because you guys know, like I remember I used to do a lot of book arbitrage back in the day, and a lot of times the book would just drop in price, and when I'm going to check it out, somebody else would already.
Yeah, already bought it.
It's like a robot purchased it.
Well, what they do is on Keepa, you can go in and refresh the data, and when you refresh the data, there's an extra button that maybe you don't know about that you can click on, and it'll get the most live information on Amazon. And so for about 5 to 10 minutes, you have that data before anyone else does. So then about 5 to 10 minutes later, you get an email telling you to go buy the book. By that time, the 10 minutes has happened, people like me and Joji have already bought the book, right? Because we've had that 10 minutes where we got to see that information.
Yeah, but it seems like it's like a robot doing it or something. Like it's so fast. I remember I used to get email notifications on my phone, and I'd be, oh, this is a good book, and I would go to buy it, gone. So maybe it's people buying it too, but it seemed like
I think a lot of it's VAs as well. Like if you have a virtual assistant working around the clock. But going back to Victor's point, this is something I didn't realize until I met him. That's actually really important. Is that like if you're looking on Keepa deals, which is finding books that drop in price. Often those books that are being found in Keepa deals were books that just had their data on be updated on Keepa, be refreshed. So you like Keepa doesn't refresh data like live, like every second. It's like it might be every few hours or every couple of days where we'll actually look at a listing and then pull data from the Amazon webpage. So what that means is you could potentially have a book that just dropped in price, 20 minutes ago, but until somebody refreshes the data by like manually putting the ASIN into Keepa product viewer and like returns a search result, like Keepa doesn't pull the data from Amazon. So that book could have dropped in price 20 minutes ago, but until someone actually refreshes their data with their own list of ASINs, they'll have access to that data 10 minutes before anyone else does. So it might be 20 minutes ago, the book dropped. I just happened to get lucky and refresh my data using my own list. I was able to see that data for about 10 minutes, and then it goes live on Keepa deals. And then everyone else can see it. And so by the time Avery comes around or someone else comes around, it's already gone if it was a great deal.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
We got Coffee asking if there's multiple quantities of a textbook, how many are like, when are you staying away from purchasing that?
Oh, good questions. Yeah, why don't you take that, Victor?
Yeah, so for me, it's when I'm seeing a textbook, a college textbook, it's completely different than a high school textbook. But for a college textbook, if I see like the mega sellers, which are Rock City Books and Rentu or Apex, and if they have like 100 or more copies of the book, I've left it. I mean, I'm not choosing to compete with them, because even if I'm able to try to like compete with them as far as price and bring down the price penny by penny, they're still going to win the buy box because they just have so many sales that Amazon won't share the buy box with me. So they'll just have the buy box forever and will just keep dropping their price with me, but I'll never actually see the light of day. And so when I see those type of sellers have that many books, I'm not on the listing. But if it's another like third party seller that has that many, I'm not worried about it because I can drop penny by penny with them and at least share the buy box and then sell the book. For high school books, they're not even on those listings, or very rarely are. And so I don't even really trained to look at those. I'm just buying high school books as is. Like I'm seeing that book, buy it and stuff like that. So.
Yeah, I would agree. I also, whenever you have those big booksellers with a lot of stock quantity, I generally just tend to stay away from them. So what's too much. I mean, once it starts getting past 10, it's like starting to become uncomfortable. Obviously, it varies based upon what the sales rank of the book is and your perceived likelihood of how many copies would sell during that season. But yeah, there are tons of books out there where they're not on the listing. So I would say probably avoiding them is going to be a better bet.
Yeah. The bulk booksellers are pretty silent. Like, they don't like shooting podcasts like we do and like coming on here. I feel like there's like so much opportunity with online book arbitrage that like, and Rose is actually a little concerned about this. She's concerned about it being oversaturated. Yeah. 4 years ago, when Victor started his Facebook group, he limited to 100. He hit that and continued to expand. Three of you together, what if you guys grow to 1 mil, 5 mil? Making us blush over here. But my point is, with bulk sellers, they don't really share their I guess experience as much, because like if somebody finds out about your Goodwill, like if you have a Goodwill in Chicago, that's your main source. Yeah. Like if everyone on YouTube knows that that's your source, then maybe someone lives in Chicago too, and maybe they're willing to put in more work than you, and you know, maybe they steal your source. But with online book arbitrage, it's a little. I think it's a little. There's a ton of opportunity out there.
I've got a secret for you, Avery.
What?
My source is Amazon.com. Don't tell anyone.
Exactly. Your source is huge. Nobody has a bankroll for that.
I'm telling you one. Amazon.com. Anytime between 12 a.m. to 12 p.m. That's my source. So don't tell anyone.
But if you're doing bulk and you have a textbook, you probably have so many quantities of this, like these sellers that we see. We see sellers with like 50 plus quantities. What these guys want to do, I was just talking to my restricted inventory partner. He was saying, Avery, there's 4 different customers for every book. There's the merchant fulfilled used. There's a merchant fulfilled new. There's the FBA used and FBA new. So he's thinking in his warehouse, okay, I have this textbook. He's got 50 quantities of it. How many of these can we list new? How many of these are in impeccable condition, never been read before? Okay, those are going new. Now we're capturing the new buy box. Yeah. All right, let's list 20 of those merchant fulfilled, so we can also capture the merchant fulfilled customers, because some people are only going to buy merchant fulfilled, some people are only going to buy FBA. And let's do the same for used. Let's split up FBA versus MF. Now he's capturing 4 buy boxes, or 4 different types of sellers rather than 1. So I thought that was a really interesting concept.
That's interesting. Yeah. But going back to that question about saturation, I don't know, Victor can, talk about it more, because, he's the one who has the Facebook group. But I mean, I think there's enough to go around. I think Amazon's such a, it's such a massive marketplace that even with a lot of people coming in, by the way, there's a high turnover rate too. There's a lot of people who come in, get super excited about it, and end up leaving. And there is a revolving door as well. I don't know. I don't think there's honestly enough people out there even interested in selling books for it to become saturated. So that's just my opinion. But what do you think, Victor?
Yeah, I mean, the scarcity mindset is not something, any of us should be really think about. There's so much opportunities on Amazon. But specifically about our way of buying books, if you're buying the bottom, so say the bottom isn't as bottom now, right? And so instead of $5, now it's $7, but now you've also raised the top of the prices, because you bought the bottom and now you're going to sell it at the top. It's just going to look slightly different on the graph, but it's still going to have that same seasonality to it. I don't see anybody really buying Christmas books in July and that price going up to $50 or whatever. It's only going to go to $50 in December. So I haven't seen any proof of it. I've done this my group for 5 years, and I haven't seen any real shifts in what we're doing. Matter of fact, we sold that Christmas list, and there's still Christmas books today that are still that are going to do that same thing again. And people have asked that before, and I'm like, I don't know. I mean, again, Christmas is not going to be canceled. It's not next year. It's going to happen again, and the year after that. The night before Christmas is always going to be a winner. People are going to want to read that book. It's a great way to be. So.
Yeah, and I think you have 16. Do you have 1,600 people in your group now?
Almost 1,600, yeah.
Okay, so if you think about the average Christmas book, the used offer count at its peak might get to 50. So, even if everyone in that Facebook group bought 1 copy, there's just not even enough copies for people to buy. There's just not even that many copies that exist on Amazon. But yet, when you go to the Keepa chart, it's not like when we talk about specific books or Victor shares them or I share them on my YouTube channel that the next day, all those books are bought. Because going back to Victor's point, the only copies that are really going to be bought out are going to be ones that are at the bottom, right? And so once that book starts raising in price, people who are going to be looking to flip it are going to stop buying them. And so what's going to inevitably happen is as more sellers come on listing, the price comes back down. So it's kind of like, I guess going back to what Victor said, I don't see it being oversaturated. I don't think there's enough people interested in selling books on Amazon.
But my group is worried about it because I posted, "Hey, I'm about to be on this YouTube live," and very few people liked it, which is abnormal. Most people like the things I post in there, so I could tell it was like, oh. But I mean, there's just so much opportunity. I'm really not worried about it.
Yeah. It's so funny though. Like, the world does want to learn how to like make money online. The world wants to learn how to break free from the matrix. Like, I was at salsa dancing last night or 2 nights ago, and this guy was telling me about aliens and like all this crazy shit. But then he found out that I was selling on Amazon, and his eyes just lit up, and he was just like, tell me. And I'm like, or humble.com, you got to do this, you got to do that. And like I was at the airport, and the security guard was, they ask you questions sometimes, like random questions. Yeah. He's like, what do you do for work? And I'm like, well, I sell on Amazon. He's like, is that real? He's like, I've been seeing these TikToks, and like he starts like really drilling me. Like, so people are really interested, but very few people want to actually do the first few things required to actually get results. I made a document last night, like what is actually required to get results in this business. Just scan the fucking books.
Like, work.
If you're complaining about this business model not working, and you've gone to thrift stores and libraries, how many books have you scanned? If you scan 1,000 books, I guarantee you have at least a box worth of books to ship to Amazon, probably a couple $100 worth of profit, and you'll have success. But most people don't even put in that first few thousand scans. And like in y'all's world, it's probably just, looking books up on Keepa and probably going through your first 200.
Yeah, you find 200 books, you're going to find 20 books that are profitable. All you got to do in our type of business is just click on the button, click on it, buy it, and the rest of it happens on its own.
Do you know, do you have like an acceptance rate? Like, if I look through 100 books, I expect 10 to be good. Is it kind of like that? Or
if you know what you're looking for, like you can do it on Keepa, the Keepa data feature, the product finder. You can really get close to maybe even like 40% of the books you're looking at to buy. Yeah. When you're like, if I typed in Christmas and look at books that are selling quite often, you can kick off all the old, like the books that are duds basically, and only look at books that are actually selling, and then go in and start buying those books. So Christmas, Easter, things like that.
And like my analogy is that like the reason why the acceptance rate for online book arbitrage when you use like Keepa Product Finder so much higher is because you have so many ways to discriminate against books you don't want. Like, imagine you could go into a Goodwill right now and you could just walk up to the bookshelf and you look at it and you're just like, all right, any book that's been selling for under $10 over the last year, just automatically get rid of it. Boom, gone.
And they would just, there would be tons of them.
Any book that's specifically about Christmas, show it to me. Boom.
Yeah, bring them up here. Bring them to the shelf.
It's like you'll have 4 books out of the 300 or 400 books on the bookshelf. So it's like you can actually sort through the books way easier with Keepa Product Finder.
Right. So you can kind of like make your source. So like with thrifting books and library sales, it's more like on average 5% of books will be good.
Yeah.
Scan through the books. 5% would be pretty good. 1% would suck. But you guys can actually filter it down to where like these are the types of books I want. So depending on your filters, you're actually making like a higher acceptance rate, essentially.
Yeah. We're taking 80 million books, bringing it down to a search result of 120, and from the 120, buying 10 or 15. Like, it's a pretty crazy, like the power of it.
We got 2 of basically the same question. What do you do with your old books?
Okay, so it is rare that for some reason the Christmas book didn't sell, or Amazon came back on the listing of a certain book, and now I'm not selling it, and now it's past that season, right? It's past Christmas, now it's January. I'll just hold on to the next year. Like luckily most of the books I'm buying, they're not, the demand of it's not going to go away the next year, so I'll hold on to it. I'm going to pay now even more in storage fees. Instead of the 4 cents after 6 months, I'm going to start paying, I guess, 7 or 8 cents, but still I'm going to hold on till the next year and just make sure that next year I'm going to price it slightly lower, and then it'll sell. I haven't had a book past the second year of that seasonal book. So like say I have a few Christmas books that have held over from year to year, and hopefully this year they'll sell.
Yeah, I would say just wait into the next year. Oftentimes, the seasonal books are also very thin and stuff as well, so the weight's not very large. So
yeah,
I mean, you're talking about long-term storage fees being a very, very small amount relative to the margin that you'd make on the book. So I would say it's very negligible. I would say just make sure. I mean, the best thing you can do, going back to what Victor said, is make sure that you're pricing the book to sell and kind of have an idea beforehand when you buy the book, like, what is my target sell price? Like, I'm buying the book for $5. Would I be happy to sell for 25, regardless of how high it could potentially go? And if the answer to that's yes, then why not just sell for $25? And if you sell it 2 months before Christmas and you're out of stock, well, at least you sold the book and you made profit on it, right?
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Yeah. If there's a ton of non-FBA offers way below the FBA, the few FBA offers, would it be better just to compete with FBA? I say if you're selling FBA, always compete with FBA, unless it's like a high ranked book. It's like 1.5 million plus. I personally recommend just match the low price. What do you guys think about that?
No, same thing.
Yeah.
You want one of the best things of why Christmas books and Halloween books do really well right before the season is because that event's about to happen, right? So you want to have that book in before Christmas, so they're willing to pay the FBA price to guarantee that they're going to get the book in time, and they're willing to pay a lot more for it. So you definitely need to, if you have an FBA book, price it at an FBA price, you'll more than likely will get it as long as there's enough demand.
Let me ask you this: if there's a 2 million ranked book, are you going to price it? And there's two offers. One is merchant fulfilled at $20, and the other is FBA at $25 for a 2 million ranked book. And let's assume like the E-score is like 1 or 2. Mm-hmm. What price are you coming in at as an FBA seller?
I'd probably just go lowest in that case. That's a book though that we wouldn't. So, I mean,
yeah.
I guess it's hard to say. Like, that's a really low average selling price book. So
yeah, maybe like the lower price to $50 to $55.
Yeah. I would say I'd probably it really depends on the purchase price, and this is what Victor says all the time. I say it all the time as well. Is what really matters is not the sales price; it's the purchase price that matters relative to what the book's value is. So in that case, I'd probably just list it at the lowest offer just to win the buy box, have the cheapest price, because if going back to your point there, if I bought the book for $4.95 on Amazon, and I think that there's a strong likelihood it could sell for $50, why would I try to go for $55? I mean, I bought it for $4.95. I don't care if I sell it. I might be willing to go as low as like $30 just to sell the book to make money on it. So I think it comes down to the purchase price. And going back to the earlier question with having a lot of lower offers below the FBA offers, what you have to understand is the FBA offers reasonable? Like, or is it that the FBM offers are actually historically undervalued, or is that actually what the book is worth? Because if the book is actually worth $10 and there's a bunch of FBM offers at $10 and all the FBA offers at 80 or 90, well, all of the FBA offers are crazy. Like that's not realistic at all. So then you would bring your FBA price down to be competitive. So maybe you'd sell for $19.99 or $22. But if all of the FBM prices are below the market value, then that's when Victor and I come in and buy the FBM offers and then turn around and sell them for what they should be sold for.
Right. Makes sense.
Well put.
Do you guys put seasonal holiday things in your SKU? How do you filter your seasons? Oh, that's a good point. How do you filter your seasons when you're changing your prices?
It really depends on how you want to do it. There's lots of different hacks you can do. At the end of my prices, my max price, I'll put a 7 on Christmas books. So like my max price will be, $49.97. So then I know all the 7s, all Christmas books, right? And all my high school books are all 5s. So I'll know the max price, whatever that last digit is, that's the book. That's a quick way you can do it. You can also do it through the SKUs. But usually the SKUs are set by my prep center. So I'll have to get in before the prep center is willing to set the SKUs, and I'm not usually that organized. So at the very end, when I set the max price, that's when I set books like that. So like I have winter books, stuff like that. I put a 1,
You can also set up custom SKUs here. You can go to this. So source, listed by, custom SKU counter. That's good for merchant fulfilled, random number. I would probably just do it in the source. So like when you're listing, let's see, I would just put like Christmas dash Amazon. So if you're buying the book from Amazon, now you know Amazon's the source, but it's Christmas. Or TXT for textbook dash Amazon or Easter.
Yeah.
Amazon. And then that way, and if you really wanted to like be able to actually go to Lister next week, we're going to be able to search. You'll be able to search your inventory within Go To Lister next week.
Wow, that's cool.
That's
what
cool.
I was going to say is if you were going to look this up on Seller Central, you could take Easter and search it under Manage Inventory. And then as long as this is the first part of your SKU, so under SKU settings, you would put it as, so source is first here. So Easter is going to come up first.
Okay.
Now, when you type in Easter in Manage Inventory and Seller Central, you'll be able to quickly just, reprice your inventory there. But pretty soon, like hopefully next week, Dom's saying Monday or Tuesday, we're going to have inventory here. So you'll be able to manage your min-max prices and see all your actually replens are coming soon too. So I don't know how helpful that'll be for you guys, but it'll tell you when you should replenish certain inventory that you're out of stock in. So all that's coming right around the corner.
Well, and that's really good because, like, say 2 weeks before the season, whatever it is, say Christmas, you can type in Christmas and see what books you still have in stock and try to figure out, okay, do I need to reprice this or are we good? Right? You can start monitoring those.
Yeah. And same with textbooks. And you can even do like spring textbook season versus fall textbook season. Like if you know it's a really good spring semester book, then go ahead and put like STXT. But if you know it's a good fall textbook book, then put FTXT. So, or May. May has textbook season also. Speaking of Go To Lister, let's go ahead and get this giveaway on the road. So if you guys want to go to gotolister.com, if you haven't already, sign up for a free trial. You can cancel anytime. All you got to do is sign up, put your email in. It'll ask for your credit card information, but we won't charge you until the 14-day trial is over with. This is actually the fastest listing software on the planet. And we have smart pricing. We help you ship items to Amazon. Selling on Amazon is way more fun when you don't hate yourself when you're listing books. So that's why I created Go To Lister. And everyone who signs up right now, or if you already are a Go To Lister user, just put your email in the chat, what you signed up with, and we will tally up all of our Go To Lister users right now. And the winner gets $500 profitable books. So shipped directly to your house. I went out hard to find these. I scanned for 5 hours and I found $500 worth of profitable books. So I was making
$100 an hour.
Yep.
There you go.
And I saw your last podcast. That book that you just showed, it came back as not counterfeit. So right, that red book.
Yeah. I have a whole box of books that aren't counterfeit, but unfortunately, I'm not going to send these non-counterfeit books to you guys because these are Pearson, Cengage, McGraw-Hill, so they're restricted books. So I actually have to ship these to Texas for my partner ship. But at least we know they're not counterfeit. They held them for a year and a half. Amazon held them for a year. They shipped them to Maryland, and then Maryland, the law firm out there said they weren't counterfeit, and they finally shipped them back to me.
Yeah, they did that for me too as well.
Yeah. So now I'm going to ship them to Texas. Texas is going to list them on Amazon. So
I got like 2 boxes. I got like almost 40 books back. It's kind of crazy how much they test buy. It's kind of insane.
It's ridiculous.
I'm telling you guys, this is why I don't do it. I buy high school books and seasonal books. None of so far I haven't got a test buy yet. Which
I actually think I haven't really tried it, but I think if you only looked at restricted textbooks, I think you could do a ton of eBay to Amazon flips. I haven't looked it up yet.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
I think there is an opportunity for that.
Yeah.
Even if you look for like ASP books of over $100, restricted inventory is only going to take $20 cut. So if you can get them at a discounted price on eBay.
Inventory.
I definitely can tell that you'll make some money off those books, because if I go to eBay and I've noticed that book is really much cheaper than Amazon, I'm like, something's different with this book, and then I'll go and check, and I'm like, okay.
The thing that you should watch out for those, there could be a lot of counterfeits on eBay.
Yeah.
We got a ton of questions rolling in. I've been talking too much.
Let's get these questions.
We've been talking too much.
Bulk Bookseller here. Can you please go over your thoughts on selling books as new without invoices? Everything I need is used because I'm afraid of getting hit. Well, I think that's a good concern. My mentor.
I've never sold anything new.
Yeah. I will say, guys, like I've traveled to a lot of bulk warehouses, and like a lot of people sell books as new. Like it's a common thing, but you have to remember, if you're going to do this, like ask yourself, is this really a new book? Like have your employee look at it and be like, is this a brand new book? Yeah. Meaning, has it ever been read before? Has it ever been? That's how they do it. I'm not saying you should do it that way. Play at your own risk. You could get in trouble. I had an idiot friend who was doing like 200,000 in sales a month, and he sold an ex-library book as new.
Oh no!
Don't do that. He got his account. I think I don't know if he got shut down or not, but he got in some trouble. So
yeah,
that's kind of my 2 cents there. Play it safe. That's what I would say. I say around 500 books a month. I keep 3,000 books in inventory. How do you think I'm doing? 500. What is that? What sell through is that? Help me out here.
So
it's more than 10%.
Or
16%. That's a little low, actually.
Yeah.
I would consider sending in better books or repricing your books more aggressively. What do you guys think about that?
You're trying to get at least
what kind of books there, but yeah.
So yeah, at least 600 books a month is probably good. I mean, if you're selling 600 books, and it also depends on what type of books you have. Just like Joji said, it really like if it's textbook season and that's all you're selling, you're doing really bad.
Yeah.
But if it's this month and it's text and most of your books are textbooks, then that's fine. It really depends, but on average, it's about 20%.
Yeah, generally, try to sell 20%. What's your minimum profit margin, guys?
Ooh, I'll say I'll go into it with the when I buy a book, I only like to buy it if I have the perception that I can sell it for 3 times what I'm buying it for. So if I'm looking at a book that's $15 right now, if I have a strong, if I think there's a high likelihood I can sell for 45, which is 3 times that price, then I'll buy it. That's kind of the general rule I'll follow. So, for me, I think my average flip is like 190% return on investment. That's like the average book flip. So I know Victor does it a little bit lower, but he's also more systematic with it.
Yeah. So what I do is, say if I bought that book for $15, I already add my cost to it. So I'm at $15 plus I'm going to add the prep fees. I'm going to also add an additional $1 to send it to Amazon, and then even like potential return fee to it. So basically altogether add an additional $3. So if I bought it for 15, I'm saying I buy now $18, and then I add Amazon's fees to it. So say whatever that price is, say we get to $22. Now I'm going to go figure out from the calculator what is 50% above that in a return on investment. And then that's going to be my minimum price. So any book that I'm selling, I'm at least making 50%. If the charts say I can even do it more, then I am. But it all shakes out to about, at the very end, after taxes and all that, is about 30% is what I make profit off books. So last year at 500,000, I made $150K.
Nice. It seems a lot of sellers are moving from books to other products or wholesale. Is that the only way to scale? Absolutely not. That's why I have these 2 here. I mean, I run $1 million book business. Obviously, it's restrictedinventory.com, but these guys are running an arbitrage business.
Right.
They're utilizing prep centers. Joji's a chemistry teacher. He's doing this on the side. He's able to you're going to make close to 100K profit this year?
Yeah, my goal is to hit 100,000 profit this year. Yeah,
let's go.
And then Victor did 150K profit last year. So you can absolutely, and have you guys reached the limit of profitability?
Yeah. No, I'm doing it the lazy way. I really think I could do on my own without a VA, $1 million. I really think so. I mean, I have the list, I have the books. It's just like, okay, today, you know what? I'm not going to do it. Today I'm going to go play tennis, or I'm going to go.
He's retired as well, so he's financially independent. So
I'm going to help out the group more. Whatever I need to do. But it's there.
I think the question stems from the fact that the overwhelming majority of booksellers don't do what Victor and I do. The overwhelming majority of sellers actually go to thrift stores and library sales, and they're out scanning. And I think a lot of people find that it's hard to scale going out. You can only drive to so many stores in a day. So I think that's where most people transition to OA, for the fact that, traditional OA, because you can actually buy stuff online, or wholesale, you can set up, build relationships. So I think you could, there's definitely OA booksellers doing over $1 million.
And those same type of strategies they have, where they're able to stack coupons and look for sales. We're able to do that as also online book arbitrage people, right? So on eBay, they have lots of sales going on. Half price books sometimes on their website has 25% off. There's a eBay MasterCard that's 5% off that you can add. So think about Half Price Books sometimes offers their books at 25% off on eBay. You do that 25%, and then you have your MasterCard from eBay, that's an additional 5%. You're at 30% already off the lowest price that you can find on Amazon. And that on its own, you can just flip books that way.
Yeah. Let's see what else we got here. I have plenty of used books not selling in almost 1 year. Should I liquidate or should I hold longer? Yeah, I would say you really need to take a look at, like you have to get an understanding of reading Keepa graphs. So it's likely that the books that are not selling are either because nobody wants a book because you send in books that have super high sales ranks, or you're pricing the book way too high, or nobody who would want to buy the book is willing to buy it from you at that price. So I would say getting a better understanding of just foundational Keepa chart reading would definitely give you some insight into why the books that you aren't selling are not selling.
Mm-hmm.
So everyone, email $500 to support@GoToLister.com after signing up for GoToLister, or if you're already a GoToLister user, you can do that as well.
Yeah.
None of you are commenting, so maybe you're scared to put your email out there. Email us, and nobody has entered yet. So basically, you have a 100% chance of winning if you enter.
I'm gonna go enter real quick. 1 second.
Yeah. Will you send them to my prep center? I think that's
I will prep them for you.
No.
So $500 to support@GoToLister.com. And then one more time, guys, go over if you want to enter. If you're an Amazon seller, you need a listing software. GoToLister is factually the fastest listing software. We have a ton of new features coming out. Go to GoToLister.com, click on free trial, and then from here, in order to enter for the $500 giveaway, you'll put your full name, email address, you'll make your password, continue, and that will get you up and running with GoToLister. And then remember, GoToLister not only is the fastest listing software, but it also has profit analytics. We're having net profit reports come soon. You'll be able to manage your inventory within GoToLister next week. So if you want to change quantities, add min-max prices, just view your inventory. You'll be able to do that directly within our app. And we help you make more money on, books that don't have FBA offers, or books that, that sell really fast, and maybe you should price them higher. So a lot of cool features. We have intelligent pricing that allows you basically to make more money on books that sell fast. So GoToLister.com.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Let's see. Is it bad if you have a bad sell-through rate in the eyes of Amazon? Will they ever shut your account down for this? I don't think so. I think you're just gonna rack up long-term storage fees.
You're just gonna charge you a ton of fees.
Yeah, that's gonna charge.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think that they would shut you down, but I think you might shut yourself down because you're not selling anything.
Yeah, I agree with you. That's right.
Is this you, Victor?
What? Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
You're in the comments too.
Yeah.
Well, I was just trying to help out. Someone asked me what are we limited to? And we're limited to our how much money we have and how much time we have. That's it. There's just so many books out there.
Capital and time.
Joji, you're doing this between 10 and midnight, right?
Yeah. Wait, what's up?
I said you're doing this between 10 and midnight, right?
Yeah, I do my sourcing between 10 p.m. and midnight. Yeah.
Do you really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Why is
Because
it?
I wake up at 5:30 in the morning, go play some pickleball in the morning, then go to school. At school the whole day, get home, hang out with my baby and my wife until about 10 p.m. and then hop on, shoot a YouTube video, do some sourcing. That's about it. Yeah.
Dean says,
Wake up at 5:30 and repeat.
After I win. I got some Scotty peelers over here. I have so many Scotty peelers. Caleb gave me all of his Scotty peelers.
Oh gosh.
Why would you drop penny by penny and not just share the buy box? Who's he talking to?
Maybe what we talked about before. So if it's textbook season, okay, and you're competing with a mega seller, you're not going to win the buy box if you're equal. So you're going to have to drop the price by a penny to even have a possibility of winning the buy box. If you're sharing the buy box with another regular third party seller, sure, that's really up to you, and on each listing is going to be a little bit different. So yeah, you can do one or the other. It doesn't really matter that much.
Mm-hmm.
Carson says, setting up filters for A2A book flips on Keepa is where I struggle. Yeah, I'm coming out with the Amazon Downtime Masterclass. Going to be launching that on the 30th. So I'm super excited about that. But I'll give you a whole bunch of Keepa product finder filters that I use if you're interested in that. But I also have a lot of free YouTube videos on my channel as well. Let's see, another question. if you're tax exempt in your state for eBay and Amazon, but decide to use a prep center in a non-sales tax free state, do you have to pay the sales tax if sending to that prep center? So you'd want to get sales tax exempt in whatever state it is that you're sending the book to. And you could easily do that. It's not that difficult of a process. So yeah, you should never be paying sales tax on any of the books you're buying. And what's so great about that is the money you save on the sales tax will usually cover the cost of the prep of the book. So if you get yourself sales tax exempt, you're basically getting free prep because you actually might be making money because now, I live in California, really high sales tax, like 9%. So, I might be saving more money by, sending it to a prep center where I'm now sales tax exempt because, I get to save the money I would have spent on taxes, and it's more than enough to pay for the prep.
Yeah, there's like an agreement between something like 30 states that once you're able to be sales exempt in one state, you can do it to all 30 states. It's just, I think it's like multi-sales tax form. I Google that. And as long as you're, like I said, you're exempt in one state, you fill out this form and send that to Amazon, and you can be exempt in those other states. As long as you and your prep center are in one of those agreeable states, that's it. You just have to fill out that one form.
So what do you
Somebody asked about your supplement stack.
What's a supplement stack?
Man.
Yeah.
Like what supplements you take?
Supplements? Like pills or something? Or like
Yeah. Like do you take any
supplement? I don't take anything. I
think we probably just read that wrong. I don't know what you meant.
Yeah, I thought, is it a book question or is it?
Yeah, I think it's a book question.
Is it a book question?
Wait, is it? Joji needs to do some videos on his supplement.
There's like a smiley face at the end. I don't know.
Supplement stacks like what do you like? Do you take nootropics or anything like that? I think they're.
This is Shanna. This is the Central Virginia.
Yeah, I know.
It's like, do you take L-theanine or like?
I don't know what that is.
I think you're just saying you're smart and they want to know what you're taking.
Oh, okay. No.
With selling used books that you aren't restocking, your restock rate is poor. Is that a suspension risk? No,
it's not. It's a non-factor.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's okay. So here's a point I want to make is like, there's a lot of these questions in the comments. I don't want to be harsh about it. But I think a lot of times people get analysis paralysis. Like they ask all these questions about things that, at the time, like what matters is like send your first shipment in. That's what matters. Figure out how to get the first ship. Like all this other stuff, like, it might matter here or there, but you're focusing energy on the wrong question.
Yeah.
Just get the books in and see what happens, and you'll start to learn the things and absorb information.
I used to do like private coaching, and I would charge people a couple $1,000s to work with me. And it's kind of exhausting because you really want the people to be successful because they thank you so much. But here it's like YouTube Live. I can help everyone. And if you take action, great. I'll see you in a year and you'll be successful. If you don't take action, whatever. I don't feel bad because I didn't charge you. But if you pay me $1,000, I feel like I need to get you success. And this one guy, he comes to a coaching call and he's like got a list of questions. And he's like, what about shipping from Puerto Rico to, and I'm just like, do you have product in Puerto Rico? And I'm like, what are you, like, you're way over here, man. We're here. Have you found your first product yet? And he's like, yeah, but the shipping costs in Puerto. I'm like, dude, you live in like Arizona. Like,
yeah. And okay. I don't want to, I hope we're not trying to be disrespectful. There is a lot to learn. I will give you that. There's so much to learn. All I say is just what matters is the action part, and you'll learn. Like if it matters, you'll learn about it. Like if you make a mistake, Amazon will let you know. But yeah, don't worry about it. Like that's fine.
What prep center are you using?
In the comments, I put a Christmas book in there. Just go buy that Christmas book. Start. Start. Buy the Christmas book. Go buy it and flip it. That you'll beat like 90% of the people in here.
Yeah. AJ says, what prep center do I use? I use Central Virginia Prep, which is a wonderful prep center run by Shanna Man. She's actually in the comments right now. I have a YouTube video going on.
She owns it?
Yeah, she's the owner. Yeah.
Nice.
She's awesome. Very, very, very organized. And great prep center, $2.25 per book. If you want to be listed or prepped and then listed and then shipped to Amazon, you have to pay inbound shipping fees, but never had an issue. Super easy to work with. And then Victor, why don't you shout out yours as well? They're also good.
Yeah, so I have two. I have Little Prep. So just Google that. I've been with them since probably close to day one when he was in his own garage.
You can go sign up. They're great.
Yeah, so he charges $1.80. He does pretty much the same type of preps, right? He gets the book, he grades it, puts a sticker on it, and sends it to Amazon. He also has his own little software system to process those books. And also I have a secondary one, 70815 prep, and his name is Chris, and he's more of a like, if I need something really custom made, custom order, right? I need a bundle together. I need something unbundled. All my returns also go to Chris. So the two together really work well for me. Plus, a few times throughout the last few years, one prep center has had to shut down for some type of like winter emergency, and I've gotten to be able to still send in books because I still have that other prep center. So that's why I have two.
Yeah. So you can't go wrong. See, we're giving you no excuses. Any one of the three will be great.
We're literally, and all three are accepting new customers. Yeah, all you have to do is just buy the book and send it in.
buy that book they just listed.
So we have 12 people officially enter for the contest to win $500 in books. If you guys haven't already, you must have a GoToLister account. Go to gotolister.com to sign up. Again, that's the fastest listing software on the planet with profit analytics, and we're only going to get better.
By the way, I got you guys covered. I got a prep video using GoToLister as well. So A through Z, getting the books in, sending them down. So you guys can check that on the YouTube channel. Somebody asked, and this is a good question for Victor, since it's, would you recommend holding the inventory, talking about, seasonal book inventory? Would you recommend holding the seasonal book inventory at your house until the season comes closer, or just send it in immediately, listed at the higher price and wait?
Yeah. I get this question every week, maybe almost every day. You have to send in every book you have. You need to send it in. Send it in immediately.
Now, did you ever deal with issues back in 2021 with storage limits?
I did for a little bit, and this is why you need to have like partnerships with your prep centers. Basically, little Al Frank just put him in his store, kept him in his warehouse. So he collected all my books and just put them in pallets until it was time to send them in again, and just then sent them in. So yeah, I did have a little bit of an issue. I think I was limited at that time, maybe 2,000 books. So the rest were just sitting there. But once they were open, I started sending them back in. So little, I think is unlimited. I think I probably could have sent him 10,000 books. But 70815 prep, he could probably only hold about 500. So that's where I ran into a little bit of an issue. But
gotcha.
Yeah.
Send it in though. As soon as you get it,
send it in.
And the reason why is because I've sold Christmas books in July.
Yes. Oh yeah.
Why? No idea.
I have no idea. And for the top price too, right, Joji?
Sometimes.
Yep.
Yeah.
She sent 3 boxes of books, but they weren't received. How long has it been? And did you pack the boxes good? And yeah, that sucks. It does happen. It's not that common. Invoices do help, but as booksellers, you don't have them. So just make sure you're packing your boxes good. I mean, it's really
the number one reason why they would be lost is because of poor packaging.
Yeah. I've got maybe like 3 boxes in total lost in the 5 years. 2 of them were like found one day randomly, maybe like 6 months to a year later. They just showed up in my inventory, and 1 box is still lost. So yeah, it happens, but it just doesn't happen often.
Yeah. It's so small. Like, it's such a small percentage. Like people also say for returns as well. Book return. I was just looking at it. It's like I was just looking at my books now. It's like 6% on the year of books, but that's just books that were purchased and returned. That doesn't even count all the books that got returned that went right back into inventory to be sold again, or the books that were quote unfulfillable, sent back to me that are still fulfillable and you send back in. So it's also one of those things like, focus your time and your effort and your resources on getting the stuff done, like getting stuff sent to Amazon. You'll learn, along the way.
Yeah. Set an items listed goal.
Yeah.
Starting out, if you're thrifting books, item scan goal. If you're kind of getting in the groove, items listed per week. If you're doing what Joji and Victor do, probably like a spend goal. Like, let's spend 2,000 a month. Let's spend 3,000 a month.
Yeah, exactly.
Would owning your own warehouse for prep of doing retail arbitrage and wholesale be the ultimate in-game strategy? For me, no, because I want to travel the world, and I'm here in Nashville for a year. I'm focusing on growing GoToLister, but I cannot imagine having a warehouse. Like, I would rather pay $1 per unit and let somebody else deal with it. And I think I'd rather
let Shannon Man, who's a much more logistically savvy person deal with that. So,
it's kind of ironic because like if you're doing FBA, you've already delegated warehousing.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
You know what I mean? So like people that are like, I don't want to delegate anything in my business, and they're like, I'm doing it all myself. It's like, well, if you're doing Amazon FBA, you've delegated so much already.
Yeah.
Jeff Bezos forced you to delegate that element, but so having a warehouse is a choice, and it's not one that I'm going to do anytime soon. If you guys see me get a warehouse, it's because it's because the only reason why I would get a warehouse is if like I was prepping an insane number of units. And it would just make sense. Like I used to have a goal when I hit 30,000 units a month because it looked like restricted inventory was going to do that. I was like, when we hit 30,000 units, that's when I'll get a warehouse. But even then,
no, I'm never not. I mean, I'm always going to continue to do FBA and nothing else. I mean, and I'm also only going to do books. I've told my group, and I really mean it. I'm just going to stick with books. And the main reason, I mean, I know how to do other systems. I know what they're doing because we do that in books. It's just way safer with books. I don't have the counterfeit complaints. I don't have the IP complaints. I don't have competitors that way. I don't have lawyers sending me letters threatening to shut me down. Books are already established, and that's why I stay in the book business. I just don't have those worries.
Very good points.
Yeah, absolutely. Shannon says, "Can't sell what you don't send in." Exactly.
Yeah, that's true.
Community boxes, 3-inch tape. I'm sending $500 plus boxes. Somebody's gonna get a $500 plus box of books tonight.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The yard sale clothes. Absolutely. Yeah, it's something I learned from Rakin early on. Steve Rakin. He says, if I got to use an extra $1 in tape to make sure my $1,000 box gets to the warehouse, that's what I'm gonna do.
Yeah. That's a great way to look at it.
Yeah, because those heavy duty boxes are like an extra 50 cents to $1. Yeah. Buy them, pay for them to make sure your books actually get there.
Yeah.
Email $500 to support@gotoolster.com after signing up for a chance to win. We'll do this giveaway in 1 minute here. We got 1, 2, 3, about 16, 17 people entered, and one of you will get $500 profitable books packed, shipped directly to your house.
It's crazy. It's already been an hour talking about books.
Trey says, as a new seller, am I already ungated on most book categories? Okay, so there's a difference between international sellers and sellers in the U.S. So my understanding, and Victor, you can correct me if I'm wrong here, because you're also, I'm sure people ask you about this a lot, but if you're an international seller, I think you're basically gated in like all books, like when you make an account. Right. But if you're actually here in the United States, I'm pretty sure that you can still request to get ungated in most books. And Avery, you probably might know as well.
Yeah, that's right.
You can request to get ungated basically in all books except for Pearson and Cengage and a few like textbook publishers. But
I've let those.
If you really tried, you probably could get ungated in those too, but you'd have to pay a law firm and go through all these hoops.
Yeah, I've left those gates up whenever Amazon tells me I can sell it. I'm cool with that because usually that means that's probably a counterfeit likely book, and I don't want to touch it.
Textbooks, there's other brands that just like Lego. You can get ungated in Lego books and you'll be fine. Disney books, American Girl Doll books.
Marvel. I think some people are gated in Marvel.
DC Comics, all those. Speaking of DC Comics, I'm having trouble getting ungated in Marvel, DC, and Games Workshop. Marvel and DC, I think you can order from Ingram Book. So just type in Ingram. I think it's Ingram Book Company or something. It's in Smyrna, Tennessee. And you can order 10 units from there and get ungated. I'm sure Christian Books works for Marvel.
Yeah, Christian Books.
Does it?
Yeah, it does.
I don't know.
I've had some people in the group do it that way. I've luckily have already just been ungated. I never had to apply. But there's the people who need to did it through Christian Books.
Yeah, make sure you have 10 units. Make sure your address is correct on the invoice and your Amazon selling account, and you should be good to go.
Yeah, I've never heard about Ingram Book Company, so that's interesting.
Yeah, that was the one everyone used back in the day, or at least I used.
Ingram, okay.
There's another one too, Alliance. Have you heard of that?
I'm not. No. Oh, actually, I think I might have.
That was the one. Like everyone was using Alliance, and they found out Amazon sellers were using them, and they started charging $1,000 if you're an Amazon seller minimum order. And some Amazon sellers would pay it. It was a scam.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
There's arbitrage in every matter. Yes. There's arbitrage in every part of this world. That's fun. All right. Any other questions here?
Shout out Leslie FBA, Millie Drick, Shopping by Joy. Oh, Bill just came in. Bill Martling. No, I'm just kidding. It's Bill.
Bill Marling. That's funny.
We should get him back on the pod soon.
Yeah, Bill's a great guy. Anything else? I think we covered a lot. I think we provided a lot of value, answered a lot of questions. So good questions, everybody.
My question for you guys is, how often are you like replenishing the same books?
Well, for Victor, I mean, he's replenishing them every year, right? Right. When the books bottom out. So, the best time to buy Christmas books will probably start to be like, after February, probably March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October.
Yeah. When people ask me what time should I be buying Christmas books, I'm like, whenever you decide that's a good day for you. If like February is not a good time, that's not a good month. Fine, just buy them in March. So good point.
For me, like, because I do less seasonal online book arbitrage than Victor does. For me, I kind of just look at what my inventory is. If I have 2 or 3 copies of a book and I've sold 2 or 3 of them, then I'll be on the lookout. Like I'll be tracking it with the Keepa track product feature. I'll get alerted if it ever gets back to my sell price. And one really easy thing that you can do, and I'm actually coming out with a video. I think it's gonna be my next YouTube video. It's gonna be about this, which is, a simple thing that you can do is every time you sell a book on Amazon Seller Central, you can open up the link, look at the Keepa chart. There's a hyperlink to go over to eBay, and you can look at, are there any copies available at a similar price that you bought it at? And oftentimes, there might actually be a book that you can buy at a similar price that you bought it at. And then also there might be some books where you can send an offer on, $10 or $15 less, and, seller might accept it. So you could actually just replenish it as soon as you sell it. That's possible. But then also making sure that you're tracking the book. So like once you sell a book, like you don't just forget about that book. That's now a data point in your portfolio where it's like, this is a book I bought for 15, flipped for 50. I'm going to be looking for that book again over the next decade. So let's go and track it with Keepa. If you want to be more advanced, you can have a long list of books like Victor has, because you are limited to tracking 5,000 books with Keepa alerts. But basically every time you sell a book, don't forget about it.
I think your question was really good about tracking books and then replenishing them depending on when. And one of the questions was, when do we send these books in? Well, if you send that Christmas book in, say in February, and then it sells in March, go rebuy the book, right? Those are replens that I do. I'm also doing that with like high school books. If any high school book sells from now until May, I'm rebuying it. I'm buying every high school book I'm selling from now until May. In May, hopefully I'll have all the high school books I need in stock and ready to sell by May.
Nice.
So,
I had this Hanukkah book that I had bought 2 copies of, Victor, and I was like, okay, this is good. I only need 2 copies. One sold in June, the next one sold in July. So all right, I guess I got to go replenish because it's not Hanukkah yet.
Yeah, right. Exactly. It's not even close to Hanukkah.
So I bought it for the price I wanted to buy it for, sold it at the price I want to sold it for.
And that purple high school book? Jochi, it's dropped really right now. It's like down to $10. So
is it really? Is it that low?
Yeah.
Maybe I'm getting notified.
Sold them for 90. So
yeah, that was a great book.
Yeah.
All right, we got the winner. It's Christina. I'm not sure if it's this Christina that's in here right now, Christina C, but it's Christina Ward Connell. So I just emailed you.
Yeah.
Address, and
are you here? Hopefully you're here.
we emailed her. So she'll
congrats.
$500 profitable books shipped directly to her. So congrats, Christina.
We're talking $500. Send them into to Amazon. Don't let them sit there, right? Send them into Amazon.
Exactly.
Holly says, how do you
have
get
an
tax
account
exempt in Virginia with Amazon and eBay for in California? Yeah, there's actually a video that I shot in the 828 masterclass that I'll be dropping later this month. But essentially, there's a form that you have to fill out, and you have to, I forget exactly the entire process because I made the video a little while ago, but it's not too difficult to do. Yeah.
And and Shannon, right, is in Virginia. I imagine she can also help out a little bit there because she's helped out. Some people get probably sales tax exempt there. I know that Frank in Ohio also can help out if you're trying to get work with him. So
yeah, absolutely.
I'll show you something real quick. I'm not sure if this would be too helpful for your books, but I've used it for OA and for wholesale. So it's called the Go-To Lister replen sheet. Anyone who signs up for Go-To Lister, just ask for the replen sheet and we'll send it to you. But all you need to do is download 2 reports from Go-To Lister, put them in here. and then it tells you what items you need to replenish. So it tells you buy more, and it tells you how many more to buy. So let's say you have 5 of one book and you've sold 10 of the book in the last 7 days. What it does is it looks at the last date of the sale and then 7 days before then, and then multiplies it by 4 to get a 28-day supply. And then it subtracts what you currently have listed. So if you have 5 listed and you've sold, let's say 10, then it's going to assume that you're selling 40 over the next 4 weeks, and you have 10 in stock. So it'll tell you to buy 30 more. So it tells you how many more you should buy to keep at least a 30-day supply of. And that's what I use for my wholesale business. It helps me stay in stock. I'm not sure if it would be helpful for you guys, because with you guys might not be able to buy the book. It's kind of like a one-off thing, but that's been helpful for my business.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's probably, we don't sell enough of the books to probably make it that necessarily worth it, but absolutely for wholesale and OA, that's regular OA. That's definitely helpful.
Shout out Sadiq. He's doing $100K a month in Nike shoes and other products.
Good.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Are you gonna, Victor? You should come through Miami. I don't know if I've talked to you.
I was trying to tell Victor to do that. So.
I was like, I don't know how many booksellers are going to be there, right?
Vishal should be coming. He does $600K a month in books. Joji will be there, right, Joji?
Yep, absolutely.
Okay.
I'm speaking. I'll be there. I'm speaking.
Yeah. I've talked to so many people about it. Scott Needham. It was something about his family. So I just forget. I just need to update the website so I can go look at the website and have all the people.
Victor, I'm also going because I want more booksellers to go as well. I'm trying to get all the booksellers. We're trying to retake Amazon. Like Amazon started with books. Now OA and wholesale is taking books over. We're trying to retake it back.
Yeah, we got to take over, man.
10% of books are the way.
Yeah,
I think we can do it.
Yeah,
it was a pleasure, guys. Oh, we got Christina saying she's going to be coming to Miami. Christina, are you the same Christina that won? Because you have a different initial on your last name. Hopefully you are, but no, it's you.
And Joji, I mean, I think it's actually really good if you guys want to find out some more stuff about books. Joji has a lot of YouTube content on his channel. He also has a lot of live videos of him going in and Keepa deals and finding books that way. So if you want to get into his head, that's really a great place. 100%. Also, my Facebook page.
Hold on, Victor. Let me plug you, buddy. Let me plug you. Okay. Yeah, check out the seasonal book arbitrage Facebook community group. That's Victor's group. He's got 1,600 people in there. He's way too generous, in my opinion. He's giving away books for free on the daily. He's like, hey, buy this book now and sell for 3 months for 300% ROI. Yeah. Some people buy it, some people don't, but there's tons of free resources in there. So can't go wrong with that. Also, guys, starthumble.com.
Yeah.
Appreciate you.
Well, yeah, and restrictedinventory.com. I mean, that's even better.
Grind hard, well done, sir, and welcome to the freaking.
Do you have that button just ready to go?
Yeah, I got it ready to go.
Says it. Is it hotline to R? Is it hotline to R? That's how you should.
Yeah. So, yeah. All right, guys. Pleasure doing this. I'm sure we'll shoot like 100 pods before Miami, but yeah. Happy Saturday.
Appreciate it. Thank you guys.
Do the work.
All right.
Later, guys.
Yeah.